please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
To those guests who've just joined us, welcome. Our next stop is the Magic Kingdom. Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching our station at the entrance to Main Street, USA, gateway to the 7 theme lands of the Magic Kingdom.
Welcome aboard the Monday Morning Monorail podcast. This is Justin Monorail, and today it is just me solo, Justin Solo Rail, because Landon and Stephers are both traveling the country, having great times, but they don't have time to be here with me today. I don't judge them for that. They're living their lives. They're doing their thing, and that's great. And we're going to have a great show, just you and me today. This is episode number 215 of the Monday Morning Monorail podcast. Today is August 19th, 2024. And man, can you believe we're already halfway through August? We're like 10 days away, maybe 11. I guess as you're hearing this, 10 days away from really spooky season kicking off. It's going to be that week. We'll be getting into some exciting Halloween Horror Night stuff. And well, over at Disney World at the Magic Kingdom, they're already doing Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. So it's here. We're in the midst of it. Start carving your pumpkins, stocking up on your candy corn, and getting ready for those little miscreants to come knock on your door. And they better say trick or treat. If you're not teaching your kids to say trick or treat, shame on you, shame on me, and shame on them. Everyone should be saying trick or treat. If not, no candy. The trick's on them. No candy. I make kids say it. If you come to my house, you're saying trick or treat. Well, you don't have to say trick or treat for today's show. I've got a bunch of news that we're going to go through, and I'll even talk about a couple of experiences that I've gotten to have over the last week or so. But of course, just to set things up, we got to do business first. First of all, this is the Monday Morning Monorail podcast. You can follow us on all the social media. We're at Morning Monorail on Instagram, Twitter, on TikTok even. We're on TikTok. We've got like 75 followers now. You could be one of those people. We have a Facebook group called the Monday Morning Monorail Fam Facebook group. You can join that. And we have a Discord. Hop in there and chat with us. The link is in the Facebook group. And you can join that group and be chatting with us all week long. Very cool group, cool stuff. And it's a very welcoming group. If you're feeling like a little nervous about jumping in, don't worry. We greet everyone with open arms, and we would love to see you there. I wanted to remind you, we are building towards a very exciting event for Landon's 40th birthday. If you haven't heard yet, we're doing a little fundraiser called Living with the Landon. On April 1st, 2025, Landon will be turning 40 years old. And as part of that, he wanted to give back. And so he has set up a charitable fundraiser for an organization called the Second Harvest Food Bank of East Tennessee. Specifically, it's the Food for Kids program. And he's raising money all the way up until April 1st, 2025. And all that money is going to be going to the Second Harvest Food Bank of East Tennessee. And there's information of how you can donate, how you can be part of that. Go to the morningmonorail.com website and you can see links, all sorts of things. We do have a merch shop set up so you can go buy t-shirts or whatever else you may want with the Living with the Landon logo. And any of the money above cost will go towards Second Harvest Food Bank of East Tennessee. If you want to sponsor Landon on his endeavors, you will sign up to do that. You pick a dollar amount, and then however many times Landon can ride Living with the Land on April 1st, 2025, you will multiply your individual donation by the ride total, and that'll be your total donation. So for example, if you say $2 per ride, Landon rides 20 times, then that's a $40 donation to the Second Harvest Food Bank of East Tennessee. We're really excited. Can't wait for all that to kick off. And I hope that you can be part of it, whether it's through getting the merchandise or following along. We will try to do some videos on the day of, some live look-ins. We're trying to increase our following on the YouTube. And by the way, this episode number 215 is going to be the third Monday Morning Monorail podcast where you can watch it live on, not live, It's not live to tape on YouTube. Go check it out, and you can see today my smiling face, and you get to see all the pictures that I'm going to share as we go through the articles of the news. But we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, because if we do, then we will be able to go live while we are at Epcot doing the Living with the Landon fundraiser. So that's all the business. I think that takes care of everything up front. And of course, you know what that means. It means we are here to do the thing that we do every week, and that's talk about the news. Let's dive in. That's right, dreamers. This week I have scoured the internet. I have combed through the blogs. I've watched the vlogs. I've read the articles so you don't have to. And I brought the headlines that you want to hear from your Central Florida theme park. All the theme parks, not just one. Right here to the Monday Morning Monorail podcast. As we always do, we're going to start with Walt Disney World. Exciting news. Peter Pan's flight actually opened up in Magic Kingdom a little ahead of time. This ride was down for a 6-week refurbishment. It opened up a little bit early. We had some speculation about what we thought was going on during the refurbishment, and it turns out we were correct. The Native American scene in Peter Pan's flight has been updated. Now, if you rode Peter Pan's flight in the past, you will have seen there was a Native American scene, and the characters in that scene were stereotypical caricatures of Native Americans, and it was not good. And it was something that needed to be updated. Of course, this is based on the cartoon, and these are images from the cartoon, but it's something that we can improve on. And I'm glad that Disney decided to do it. So now, if you go and check out the new scene on Peter Pan's flight, you will see updated figures. There's 2 of them dancing in a circle. One of them is Tiger Lily, and the other is her grandmother. And basically, they're performing a traditional fancy shawl butterfly dance by the fire. And then we have a few other characters. They are playing the drums, and we've got the teepees. The teepees have been updated as well to look more accurate to what they should look like. And it looks great. In my mind, this is 100% an upgrade. I always feel like if there's something we can do to make a ride a little better, if something in there was making a particular group of people feel uncomfortable or weird about it, we can make that change. It doesn't hurt anybody. And in this case, I think they've done a great job because, they could have just totally taken this scene out entirely, and they didn't do that. They just upgraded it to make it more respectful and more accurately depicting Native Americans in a respectful way. So I appreciate it. I think it's great. 100% upgrade. Nothing wrong with this. I can't wait to see it in person. I haven't gotten to yet. I typically don't go out of my way to ride Peter Pan's flight when I'm in Magic Kingdom because it does tend to have a somewhat long wait. And Peter Pan's flight is great. It's a classic. It's not something I feel like I need to do every single time. So I'm not going to wait 60 plus minutes for that ride. But I do want to see the upgrade. I want to see the new scene, and so I'll try to keep my eyes peeled in the Magic Kingdom, and who knows, maybe there'll be a day coming up soon where I do multi-pass and I can book Peter Pan's flight and save myself some time. But I'll check it out. I hope you get to check it out. I'm actually showing in the YouTube video a picture of what the new scene looks like now if you want to get a sneak peek of that, and I'm sure there's videos and things that you can find if you want to check it out yourself. Otherwise, go ride it yourself and experience it and find out what it is with your own eyes. It's always good to do it with your own eyes, not through someone else's or just listening to my dumb opinion. One of the things that we love to talk about on this show, and I say it every time, are foodie guides. We are suckers for foodie guides. And just this past week on the Disney Parks blog, Disney released the foodie guide for the Epcot Food and Wine Festival for 2024. It's finally here. I'm so excited. I'm going to hold off on really digging into this thing until next week when Landon and Stephers are back here with me. For now, I just wanted to say I scanned through it really quickly, and I was very excited to find out that the Brew Wing Lab is coming back. Not just that, one thing that makes me have a little bit of a pause here, it doesn't say presented by the Muppets, so I don't like that. Last year, it was a very obvious Muppet Brew Wing Lab. Doesn't say that this time. It just says Brew Wing Lab, The Odyssey. They're bringing back some classics that we had last year. You're going to get the traditional buffalo wings, the peanut butter and jelly sticky wings, which were really interesting. They weren't my favorite, but they're back this year. Impossible buffalo chicken tenders with ranch and celery, which I thought was actually pretty good. There's a new unnecessarily spicy wing this year. Last year, I remember them being curry wings, but it says these are new. It says unnecessarily spicy yet extremely tasty Carolina Reaper pepper curry wings with creamy cucumber raita. Raita? I don't know. But they're going to have that. It calls that one new, but they did have unnecessarily spicy yet extremely tasty wings last year. So maybe they've tweaked the flavor. I'll have to check it. I know it was curry last time. I thought they were really good, but boy, I will tell you, they're not kidding when they say that one's spicy. My eyes were running, my nose was running, everything was running full, like all the fluids were coming out of my face, but I had a smile on my face because they were so good. So I'm excited to see that they're going to have those again. But more importantly, the pickle milkshake is back. It's non-alcoholic. It tastes like dill. It's basically like a vanilla milkshake with dill. If you didn't get to have it last year, I think it's sort of a misnomer to call it a pickle milkshake. I know dill pickles, I get it, but the only real pickle flavor I got was like a strong dill flavor. So if you like vanilla and that sounds interesting to you, I thought it was really refreshing. So don't let it scare you away. Give it a shot. But yeah, they're going to have all sorts of options in the brewing lab. But the Muppets may be missing. And I just realized that as I brought this up to look at it for you all. And now I'm feeling a little bit sad about that. And that's a good transition because the next thing that I wanted to talk about coming out of D23, one of the big announcements we got was that Monsters, Inc. is coming to Hollywood Studios in a big way. In fact, they're going to get their own land. Monstropolis is coming to Hollywood Studios. And the speculation machine was running at full speed, nonstop, 24 hours a day, because people started wondering, where are they going to put Monstropolis? Could they put it in the animation courtyard? Could they put it over by the Rock and Roller Coaster? Or are they going to put it in the Muppets courtyard and take the Muppets out of Hollywood Studios? So I want to talk about this for a minute because I've seen ever since that speculation machine revved up his engine, I've seen people go from one extreme to the other to say, who cares? I don't like the Muppets. They don't connect with anybody. They're old. It doesn't matter. Get them out of here. To people starting petitions and going to this extremes of like, say, basically, if you remember what happened when they decided to take Mr. Toad's Wild Ride out of the Magic Kingdom, people wanted to protest. I feel like this is something that's going to happen for Muppets if eventually, and someday they will be taken out of Hollywood Studios. But when that happens, I feel like we could see something like that. I'm definitely not saying that I want that to happen, but here's what I want to say. I love the Muppets. They're important to me. They're a big deal. I am, along with Theme Park Thursday with Dillo's Diz, Frank and Jen, and then also I know Tom and Michelle, Hyperion Adventures podcast. We all started pushing for hashtag Save the Muppets. Years ago, we started pushing that hashtag, and we bring it up a lot, and we like to talk about it because we always feel like the Muppets don't get their due, and it feels like, especially since COVID, we're sort of like just waiting for that announcement to come that the Muppets are going to be removed from the theme parks. And it will make me sad when that happens. And I get like a lot of people come from it from the side of this was the last Muppets project Jim Henson actually worked on before he passed away. And there's some significance there because Jim Henson was such a huge influential creator and he meant so much to a lot of our childhoods. And this is like almost like a tribute to him to keep it in the parks. I get that too. But here's what I want to say. As much as I love the Muppets, as much as I am an advocate for hashtag Save the Muppets, I don't believe anything in a theme park is necessarily like something that needs to be protected or is sacred. Like the theme parks aren't museums. Walt said that when he opened Disneyland. He said these parks are not museums. They're going to change. They're going to grow. And I mean, if something just isn't drawing a crowd and it's taking up a lot of space and maybe they don't have an IP, a current IP they can connect that to anymore. I mean, I know they've tried multiple times to start a Muppet show, the last one being the Muppets Mayhem on Disney Plus, which I thought was good. But I also liked the Muppets. I think it was like Muppets Now, the one they did during COVID where it was like everybody was on video screens. I enjoy all that stuff, but I'm a sucker for the Muppets. And obviously it hasn't hit the way they wanted it to boost the Muppets' popularity in pop culture, right? So I think they could still do some sort of a tribute to Jim Henson, and maybe they could, make some sort of a monument, some sort of a memorial, or maintain the Muppets 3D video somehow. But you can't expect a theme park company, a entertainment company, a for-profit business to maintain a whole area just as a memorial to a person, no matter how important that person is. I certainly don't expect that. I know things are going to get removed from the parks. Things are going to change, and it's hard. I'll be sad when that happens, but I think we're going a bit far with like petitions and things like that. It's one thing to start a big ruckus about Ohana noodles and trying to get those brought back to Ohana at the Polynesian Resort, but this is sort of a different thing. And I will be right there beside you in mourning Muppet Vision 3D when it's gone. But at the same time, I think you have to prepare for that inevitability. It's going to happen someday. And I don't think there's any reason to, protest or chain ourselves to anything, I guess is what I would say. It is what it is. We'll always love the Muppets. We'll always have the Muppets. I did see someone suggest that maybe they should put the Muppet Vision 3D video on Disney Plus whenever they take it out of the parks. I think that would be great. That'd be wonderful. They definitely, and they should do something, some sort of a, not a monument, but something in memory of Jim Henson somewhere in the parks would be great. But, I think we got to calm down on some of this stuff, and I'm guilty of it sometimes too, but I think I got to take a step back when I saw the reaction today or this week about Monsters, Inc. potentially replacing the Muppets, and it just gave me a little bit of a smack of reality. One thing that's kind of nice, I will say, because I want the Muppets to stay as long as possible, is that it does seem like it's possible that Animation Courtyard is going to be the landing zone for Monsters Incorporated. And one way we know that is because I'm referencing a wdwmagic.com article for this. So recent developments suggest that Animation Courtyard is gaining traction as the likely location for Disney's upcoming Monsters, Inc. land at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Reports indicate that cast members currently occupying the large office space within the former animation building behind Star Wars Launch Bay have been informed they will soon need to vacate the area. This move hints that Animation Courtyard may be slated for redevelopment, addressing one of the challenges that previously made this location seem less feasible for the new Monsters, Inc. land. So take from that what you will. I think it's a good sign for those of us who are Muppet fans, but I just want to say to my fellow Muppet fans, listen, we'll start support groups. We'll lean on each other, but I think we have to be ready to let it go. I mean, there's a reason that Muppet shop over in the Muppets Courtyard hasn't opened in years. The writing's on the wall, so to speak. So we got to get ready for it. And speaking of getting ready for change, this is my last Disney article I'm going to talk about today. Back over to the Magic Kingdom, we did get some concept artwork for the new Cars expansion that's coming to Frontierland. And it basically gives us it tells us exactly where this is going to go, the Cars expansion. Again, it was 2 attractions. One of them was the off-road ride, and then another's an attraction for kids. And I think they said there would be some food options and shopping and all sorts of things for the Cars. It's not necessarily Radiator Springs, but it's just a Cars Land addition to Frontierland. I'll put up this picture now so you can see it on the YouTube. I think it looks awesome. I love the way it looks. I think it will fit well into Frontierland. And I think that while I just said what I said about the Muppets, I'm going to say one thing about this, because what basically this concept art shows us is that Cars Land will be going smack dab on top of Tom Sawyer Island, and they are going to fill in the rivers of America. They're going to take out the Liberty Bell riverboat, and it's going to take up all that space there in the middle that we used to be able to kind of walk along the side of the water. If you think about, like, one of the things that I think about with this area is queuing for the Haunted Mansion, being under like the covered awning and looking out into the water, and you'll see the riverboat go by and look towards Tom Sawyer Island. You could kind of see Big Thunder in the background and all that. So all that space between Big Thunder, Haunted Mansion, and then I guess it would sort of be like going into Frontierland towards Liberty Square over there on the left hand side if you're looking from Haunted Mansion towards Thunder. All that space is going to be filled in, and that's where they're going to put the Cars attraction. So I get it. And again, whatever they got to do. That's a ton of space, and it does sort of feel like Tom Sawyer is one of those things that kids don't even know what that is anymore. They don't have that connection to it. And I think we've learned that from an operational standpoint, a maintenance standpoint, Rivers of America is sort of a nightmare for the park. And it's the bottom of that riverbed is leaky, and then there's a lot of maintenance problems, and and then you also think about like traffic flow in the parks, because over by Haunted Mansion and then again over by the Big Thunder on the other side, it's dead ends, and you don't really have a nice connection where people can kind of walk from one to the other. You got to walk all the way around and go through Frontierland and Liberty Square to get like from one to the other. So operationally, there's reasons to do this. From a repair and maintenance standpoint, there's reason to do this. And then from a IP standpoint, there's reasons to do this. I get it. Totally fine. Totally understand all that. My pushback on this is that as we continue to add to the parks, we are taking away open play areas for kids, areas that parents could take kids into and where they could give them, room to get like burn off some energy, run around and play, where they didn't have to go stand in a line for like 60 minutes to go ride a ride. I love it. I love rides. I mean, that's what I do most of the time. Like I go to the parks, I eat, drink, and I ride rides. So I love more rides coming to the park. I know it's going to add capacity to Magic Kingdom, which it's needed. But I think I hurt as a person who did take smaller kids to the parks when I used to travel from Tennessee, and understanding that like it's hard for a kid to just go all day standing in line, long lines, hot lines, and not being able to like get out of that stroller and run around, burn off some energy, be a kid in a space that's made for that. It does look like, by the way, back to Hollywood Studios and the concept art, it looks like there may be a play area built into the Monsters Inc. land, which is great. Totally on board for that. Let's get a playground back at Hollywood Studios. Everybody knows we miss that Honey, I Shrunk the Kids playground. So I think that's great. In this case, they're taking away a big playground from the Magic Kingdom. And this is a place, the Magic Kingdom of all the parks is the one that is most geared towards smaller children. So I think you need the play spaces. So I just hope that that's something that's considered in the future, because I don't know, if they keep taking these places away, I don't know. To me, it's just part of a park. It's part of a theme park. You want spaces for kids to be kids, to enjoy themselves. That they're going to love the rides that you take them on. But they just want to climb and jump and swing and, get bruises on their knees and have fun and burn off some of that energy that they've built up, sitting in lines and strollers for hours at a time. So that's my thing. I also think I don't want every single park to just become homogenized where they all just seem like it's all the same. Like I like that these parks have aesthetic differences and things that are unique. And, that Rivers of America area and Tom Sawyer Island is like, it's classic Disney and it's going away. So I'm having to give myself a little dose of my own medicine here, because I'm like, I just have to take it. And, just like I did when they just announced they were taking away the Frontierland shooting arcade. I get it. Like that stuff, it doesn't move the needle. It's not adding capacity. It's not going to get more heads in the parks. Adding a Cars Land will. People aren't going to Magic Kingdom to go to Tom Sawyer Island in general. There are some people who are. I'm not saying there's no one who does that. There's some people who like make a point and they're like, I'm going to go over there and do that today. And but I would say guest to guest, the voice of the customer, that's not what people are looking for generally. And reality is the adults are the ones with the money, and there are a lot of adults that go to the parks, and yeah, they bring their kids. But I was talking with cousin Kevin about this specific thing, and he was voicing, as a younger parent who's going to be bringing a small child to the parks, he's like, oh, I hope my kid wants to ride the rides and doesn't just want to go play on a playground when we're at Disney. Yeah, I get it, but I don't know. I still think it's a loss, and it takes a little something away from the parks when you don't have those spaces. And that, hey, we're losing it. We're probably going to lose the Boneyard at Animal Kingdom too. So that's another one gone. Another one bites the dust. They're going to get you too. All right, moving on. So that's the Disney news, and that's my thoughts on that. But don't look at me as like an old grumpy curmudgeon. I'm just sharing my thoughts as someone who did have small kids, and I know kids love to go over there today, and whatever it is, what it is. That there's playgrounds back home when they take their kids back home, I guess, back to Denver. All right. I don't have Stephers here today to help me with this, but we're going to go across the Universal with Justin Monorail. So this week, Universal announced a brand new dining inclusive vacation package, which could include up to $1,000 in credits towards food and beverage. This is something Universal has not done before, and it's really, really interesting that they're doing this. I'm going to tell you the time frame, and we can draw our own conclusions about it. But pulling this from an InsideUniversal.net article, for the first time ever, U.S. and Canada residents can experience the culinary thrills of Universal Orlando Resort as part of an all-new dining card vacation package that includes a food and beverage dining card worth up to $1,000. Available for purchase now for select travel dates from November 7th, 2024 through April 10th, 2025. This exceptional new offer also includes accommodations at one of Universal's magnificent hotels and theme park admission, creating a convenient vacation package that's inclusive of the essentials needed for a thrilling getaway to Universal Orlando. The dining card vacation package is designed to help guests maximize their vacation dollars while giving them the opportunity to savor the next level award-winning cuisine of Universal Orlando Resort during their visit. Don't forget, Mythos has got a sign out front that tells you it's the best restaurant in all theme parks in all the land. Package holders can use the dining cards across more than 200 venues that offer something for every palate, including full-service restaurants like Toothsome, quick service locations like the Today Cafe and Illuminations Minion Cafe, hotel dining options like the award-winning Strongwater Tavern at Lowe's Sapphire Falls, Trattoria del Porto at Lowe's Portofino Bay, the kitchen at Hard Rock Hotel. So lots of options. The dining vacation package is available for 4 or 5 plus night stays at one of Universal Resort's hotels. The value of the dining card varies depending on the hotel and the number of nights of each stay. One card per one card per hotel room, which is interesting. I thought it was like a per person card, but it's just for the room. So that kind of, if you're taking a family, your value is diminished a little bit there. But here are the tiers. So they actually break it out in this article so we can see different scenarios and what kind of card you might get. So Lowe's Portofino Bay Hotel, Hard Rock Hotel, or Lowe's Royal Pacific Hotel. A 4-night package is going to get you $800 dining card per room. It also gets you 2-park, 4-day park-to-park ticket to Studios and Islands of Adventure. For 5 nights, you're going to get a $1,000 dining card per room. 2-park, 5-day park-to-park experience, Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. If you go to Sapphire Falls or Cabana Bay, 4 nights is going to get you a $500 card and then a 4-day park-to-park ticket. 5 nights will get you a $600 card and 5-day park-to-park ticket. If you go to Aventura, Stella Nova, or Terra Luna, interesting, because those will be open, I guess, by then, Stella Nova and Terra Luna. That's interesting. 4-night, $400 dining card per room, and then a 4-day park-to-park. And 5-night will get you $500 and a 5-day park-to-park. If you stay at Endless Summer Resort Surfside Inn and Suites or Endless Summer Resort Dockside Inn and Suites, 4 nights is a $300 dining card and 5 nights is a $400 dining card. They do include the 4-day park-to-park for the 4-night and 5-day park-to-park for the 5-night. So you still get the same ticket regardless. You just get a lower value dining card if you stay at one of the lower tiered resorts. Interesting to me that Cabana Bay and Sapphire Falls are on the same tier. Also interesting to see Stella Nova and Terra Luna. So again, the dates. I'll tell you the dates. This is for stays. You can start booking it now. And it's travel dates from November 7th, 2024 through April 10th, 2025. So, of course, this is before they expect Epic Universe to be open, but those resorts are over there are going to be open. I guess Helios probably won't be open yet, it sounds like, but they're trying to drive some of that attendance because I think that Universal thinks people are going to be holding off on traveling to Universal and going to the parks until Epic opens. So they're trying to drive some attendance, get some people earlier in the year. Like, go ahead and take that trip. We'll give you, how can you pass up a $500 dining card or up to $1,000 dining card? It's pretty tough. That's valuable. However, I would imagine you're paying the full rack rate for those rooms on those nights, similar to what Disney does for their dining package. You think you're getting a really good value, and you are at times, but you do pay rack rate, no discount for those rooms. And a deluxe room night at, a place like Hard Rock Hotel, $500 a night, $600 a night, it's expensive. So keep that in mind, but still really interesting. First time Universal's ever done this, trying to, and definitely an effort to drive that attendance before Epic Universe opens. Speaking of Epic Universe, this week we got our first look at Stardust Racers. If you remember, this used to be called Starfall Racers, and they had to change the name because of a lawsuit. But Stardust Racers, this past week, Orlando Resort prepares to unveil its latest theme park. Anticipation heightens with a first look at Stardust Racers inside Celestial Park. This area, the first that guests will explore before venturing into the realms of Universal's newest theme park, features the impressive 5,000-foot track of Stardust Racers stretching across Celestial Park's skyline. Until now, details about Stardust Racers have been limited. It's known as a dueling coaster where thrill seekers can hit speeds of up to 62 miles per hour and ascend to a height of 133 feet. Complementing the cosmic vibe of Celestial Park, the ride lacks traditional track lighting, which allows its fully illuminated vehicles to mimic shooting stars under the night sky. Today's reveal, and this is in an article from an OrlandoInformer.com blog. Today's reveal brings more details, heightening the excitement as we count down to the grand opening of Epic Universe. Universal Orlando Resort emphasizes storytelling in its attractions, and Stardust Racers is a prime example. The narrative introduced today reveals that the Celestians, the inhabitants of Celestial Park, have mastered the ability to harness the energy from the universe. This power allows them to leap onto comets and surf across the skies. A highlight of today's reveal was the Celestial Spin, a breathtaking maneuver in which two coaster vehicles execute an inverted crisscross. As they soar through the air, riders can glimpse over to the other vehicle below before swiftly swapping positions. So, pretty exciting stuff. This looks like it's going to be a really fun coaster. I've seen some videos of some ride testing, and exciting to find out that this is going to be lit a little bit differently at night, giving that illusion of the shooting stars going through Celestial Park. I can't wait to see this thing in action. I can't wait to see this whole park at night, to be honest. As you know, I'm a sucker for bright, twinkly lights, and that will be no different at Epic Universe. So very cool. I've got the picture here if you want to see on the YouTube what the Stardust Racers look like. And man, that grand opening can't come soon enough, right? And I'm excited to find out about the other ticket packages that aren't just like multi-day and lock you into just one day at Epic Universe. I got to get in that park, and I need a bunch of days. Don't think you're going to be able to do it all in one day. All right, before we wrap up the news, I do have to say that SeaWorld Orlando has a little bit of a headline here. And since we are the official podcast of SeaWorld Orlando, it's our duty to share the news. This is from mynews13.com. SeaWorld Orlando launches Fun Card and reveals event lineup for 2025. SeaWorld Orlando officials on Thursday have revealed events coming to the park for 25, as well as the launch of the 2025 Fun Card. Officials said 2025 will feature an array of entertainment options, starting with the Three Kings celebration in the first weekend of January, honoring the traditions of Latin culture. Also in January is the SeaWorld Inside Look, an exclusive behind-the-scenes experience where guests can discover the inner workings of the park's zoological institutions. The Seven Seas Food Festival, featuring global cuisines, local craft beers, and live performances, will be returning next year, as well as cultural celebrations like Mardi Gras, Cinco de Mayo. And during the summer, fans can enjoy Viva la Musica and bands, brews, and barbecue. Other events include the Just for Kids weekend and Elmo's birthday celebration, which both will offer hands-on activities for kids, character meet and greets, and interactive dance parties. For fall, the park's Halloween Spooktacular and Hallow Scream will return before wrapping up with the Christmas celebration during the holiday season. Now, the details about the 2025 Fun Card are as follows. Guests can get unlimited visits to the park for the remainder of 2024 and into the new year. For a limited time, guests can purchase the Fun Card for as low as $137.99. So that card will get you unlimited visits to the park for the rest of this year and all the way through 2025. That's a killer, crazy, ridiculous deal. But SeaWorld wants to get people in the door, and then they charge you ridiculous prices for concessions. That's something to be aware of if you're planning to go to SeaWorld Orlando. It's a fun day. You just got to be prepared for it. The prices for the concessions are high in theme parks in general. They're a little higher at SeaWorld Orlando. That's kind of how they make their money. All right. Well, that kind of does it for the news today. The last thing I wanted to talk about was this past Friday, Casey and I actually got to go to the Universal Orlando Passholder Appreciation Night, and I was really excited. If you remember, we tried to attend this event last year, and I didn't know you had to make a reservation for it. So we went into Islands of Adventure, and when people started lining up to get their wristbands, we tried to join the line, and then we overheard some team members saying, "Oh, are you telling everybody as they get in the line they have to have a reservation to be here tonight?" And we did not. So we exited the park. I guess they did say we could have stood standby, I think, over at Hard Rock or somewhere. And in case there was capacity, they would have let us in. But I don't even think that was an option this year. They did the event 2 nights. They did it Friday and Saturday. Both nights they filled the reservations completely. And so I don't think there was even the option to try to stand by and get in. But basically it started at 7:00, went till 11 p.m. You could have gone, I guess the way it worked is you either had to go to Islands of Adventure or to the studios, because it said no re-entry to the park after 7, which is when the event started. So we went into the studios, and the first thing we did, we were hungry. We should have eaten beforehand, to be honest, but we were hungry. So we went to the Leaky Cauldron, and Casey had never eaten there before. And we tried the shepherd's pie. And it's not shepherd's pie. They call it something else. I should have pulled up the menu, but there was like a seafood pie, and then there was like a shepherd's pie. And you get a sample of both if you do the combo. We did that. Both of them were really good. We also got the fish and chips, which I was pretty pleasantly surprised by. So I would recommend checking that out. And it's a nice little venue to eat in if you haven't been there before. But then immediately after that, we went over to Gringotts. It said the wait was 10 minutes. It ended up being 30. So now, Casey had never done Gringotts before either, so I'm glad we did it. But at the same time, I kind of feel like we would have gotten better value out of our time if we had not waited for that one, because lots of the other rides were walk-on. Because this being a pass holder only reservation event, the park crowd was limited. The capacity was capped. And so a lot of the rides were walk-on. Like, for example, later we did do Men in Black. We walked on to Transformers, and what else did we do? We did something else. We did another ride. Oh, the Mummy. We did the Mummy, and that was a walk-on as well. But we had somehow used up too much time, I guess, eating in with Gringotts. And then the other thing we did, they did do a special presentation of Cinesational at 9:30, and we didn't try to get a spot super early for that, because I guess I thought with limited capacity we'd have plenty of time to find a spot to watch the show. We walked into the Central Park area, kind of on one of the little middle tiers, around 9. It was like 9:10, maybe like 20 minutes before the show started, and it was packed. And where we ended up standing, I could see okay, but I'm 6 feet tall, and so I was looking over people's heads and I could see the water screens. Casey couldn't see any of the water screens. It was nice because we did get to see the drones this time. If you remember, we had previously watched Cinesational, and it was on like a windy kind of stormy day, and they didn't do the drones. We got to see the drones this time, and I do think it definitely adds something to that show. But Casey said without seeing the water screens, it really took something away from the show. So that's something to think about. If you're going to go to Universal and you want to see Cinesational, you do need to try to get your spot a little bit earlier, definitely, than we did. I don't know if you need to go an hour beforehand, maybe 45 minutes, but scope out a spot, especially if you can get in front of a railing where you've got that railing in front of you, and then maybe it drops down another tier, because if you think about Central Park, there's like 3 tiers to it. You definitely want to try to do something like that so you can get the best viewing experience. You can see the water screens. Hopefully the drones are going. And I do want to say, like, I like that show, but I was thinking about it this time, and I think it's really entertaining. I enjoy it. I'm smiling the whole time. I think they did a great job with it. One of the things that's not happening for me with that show is any kind of like, I don't have like an emotional reaction to it. And I'm not necessarily saying that you have to have that with a nighttime spectacular, but I'll tell you, every time I watch Happily Ever After, I get tears in my eyes, like every single time. And at least like when I watch, something like Fantasmic, like, it gets my heart pumping a little bit. I'm excited, while Mickey's battling the Maleficent dragon, or, Epcot, Luminous. I had an emotional reaction to Luminous. I mean, I will say that I did. I'm not afraid to say it. If you know me, I'm a sensitive, emotional person. But because of that, you would think that even I would get some little, tinges of emotion watching Cinesational, and I just don't. I don't know why that is. And maybe it's a me thing, but it doesn't really do that for me. So that's neither here nor there. That's just my thoughts on Cinesational. I think it's fun. I think it's worth seeing, but just, level set expectations. The last thing I wanted to say, so about the UOAP nights. So they did special character meet and greets. We saw some really unique, rare character meet and greets that we could have done. We didn't do any of them, but we saw, like, for example, they were bringing out some of the animal actors from the animal actors stage. We could have gotten a picture with a skunk. We actually tried to get lined up for it. And then when we were just a few people back from our turn to meet the skunk, they told us the skunk was tired and was going to bed and they were going to bring out a pig. We decided not to meet the pig. We could have met Gru and all of his daughters. We could have met, there was Woody Woodpecker and Winnie Woodpecker came out and they were dressed in Halloween costumes. Like Woody Woodpecker was a vampire. He was dressed as a Dracula, and Winnie Woodpecker was like the Bride of Frankenstein. So that was interesting. There was a Men in Black meet and greet where you could meet like two agents, and then they had the pug dressed up in the suit from the movie. So that was cool too. They had cool photo opportunities, some of the UOAP photo opportunities where you could, get giant lit up letters, behind you. And I've got a picture that you can see here on the YouTube that I took of after Cinesational. They had a water screen going. They put up the UOAP night logo on that. That was pretty cool. There were some special food items you could buy. None of that was included. You had to buy those. They had a special magnet that we did get for the night, but I don't know. Overall, I know it's a free event. It's something they don't have to do. I thought I would have liked it if we had a little more time. So 7 to 11 felt pretty short for that event. 7 to midnight would be great. Universal. Also, they had special bars and stuff set up, but it's all of it. You had to pay for everything additional that you had. So like it would have felt nice to get like free popcorn or like free soda or something for the night, just to feel a little more appreciated. And I realize I sound very ungrateful right now, but I'm just thinking about like, I'm comparing it to something that maybe I shouldn't. I think about the Moonlight Magic events for DVC at Disney, and I realize that's a whole different situation there. These are people who are paying big bucks to be part of that club. And so they do get like free ice cream and popcorn and stuff like that when they go. But a little, like you could even do like a little voucher. Here's one voucher to get a popcorn or a turkey leg or a pretzel or something, just one. Something like that I think would have maybe put it over the top for me. Overall, I thought it was fun. They had DJs set up. There were dance parties. I thought it was a fun event, but like if next year we don't get to do it, I wouldn't feel devastated. I would think, that's okay. I mean, sure, it's great to be able to walk on rides. Maybe some of the benefit of it is dulled a little bit for me because as a premier, let me just adjust my tie here. As a premier UOAP holder, I get the express after 4. So I can use my express benefits to basically walk on rides once per day. But so walking on the rides didn't feel like a super unique thing to me. I don't know. Maybe am I ungrateful? Tell me if I'm ungrateful. Did you love the Universal Passholder Night? Did you go? Did you want to go? And maybe I'm just spoiled. I think I'm a spoiled little brat, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. I can admit it. I accept it, and we move forward. But anyway, it was cool. And, if it was more your speed and you loved it, well, good for you. I'm happy for you. I don't want to take anything away from you. All right. I think that's all we've got for episode 215 of the Monday Morning Monorail podcast. I can't believe I've gone on for 45 minutes just sitting here all by myself, but I certainly did. Ladies and gentlemen, we missed Landon and Stephers like you wouldn't believe. I mean, I know it's not fun just to listen to my voice going on and on the whole time. We need the different perspectives and break it up a little bit with people who aren't spoiled brats like Stephers. She's a spoiled brat too. So is Landon. We all are. Let's be honest. But we miss them, and we'll be very excited when they come back. Just so you know, we are supposed to go live Tuesday night this week, and we're going to do that a little bit differently. I believe we'll be going live to the Monday Morning Monorail YouTube channel, so make sure you're subscribed. Mark your calendars. Tuesday, 8 o'clock, we're going to go live, and I think we're going to share our Halloween Horror Nights hype list for this year. We're going to list the houses and how excited we are in order for each one of the houses. So that's Tuesday, 8 o'clock. Don't forget about Living with the Landon. Go to morningmonorail.com, morningmonorail.com, and you can get all the information you need about Living with the Landon. Sign up for our YouTube, subscribe, do all those things, Monday Morning Monorail Podcast on YouTube, and then at Morning Monorail on all the social media. Don't forget, started a TikTok. We're posting all kinds of videos on the TikTok, including highlights of the YouTube podcast that we're posting now. So go check that out. You all are great. We love you so much. Thanks for coming here week after week and being part of the Monorail family. And I sign you off and leave you with this thought. Thank a team member. Thank a cast member. Be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.